Can everyone see now?
Yes.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum, and it's very good afternoon. It's almost evening in Malaysia. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate the new intake and the new student, the one that offered to study in USM. Oh yeah, I forgot to share my video. Okay, so first of all, okay, due to the pandemic, Convicts 2019, the one that happened for the whole world, so I believe there's a lot of things that the students like maybe confusing about the processings of the visa, and especially for the entry to Malaysia. Because we do have like 87 nationality, the one that apply and also study in USM. So the procedure is not just depending on Malaysia rules, but also depending on the home country, the origins country of the student itself, for them to enter Malaysia before they got and obtained a visa from the EMGS and also Immigrations Department. Okay, so I believe all the students that are coming to join the briefing today, they already obtained the EMGS approval letter or either EVAL. EVAL is electronic visa approval letter, and EMGS is the EMGS approval letter, the one that has been vetted by EMGS for the students to register online. So if, for example, there's students that the one that joining these sessions today may not join, may have not obtaining any approval from immigration. So in case that you may want to know the process and all those kind of things, I will share with you guys later the contact persons and also the contact number, email, and also the WhatsApp number. You guys can ask us so that we can guide you into the process one by one, because the process is a little bit different. Regardless, we do have very general information for all students, but there might be a lot of confusings, in the end. Okay, so because my focus today is actually to brief about the procedure and how the student can enter Malaysia. All right, so I just begin with the process of when the student, they already obtain the eval from the Immigrations Malaysia. So, the entry process for the international back to campus, actually this one is sharing for existing student and also new student. Okay, there are some students, they already have student visa, maybe they already study from different campuses or different institution before this, so they may want they travel back to their country, or they want to come back to Malaysia. So the process and also the procedure is applied for those existing and new students. Okay, so this is actually the SOP issued by the Ministry of Higher Educations, endorsed by we call it like Majlis Keselamatan Negara. This one is actually our security department, and help of Malaysians department. And there's another one is our disaster management agency. We call it as NATMA, and also by the concerns of EMGS and Ministry of Higher Education. So this SOP is actually published in January 14, because since 2020, started from March 18, 2020 until end of December 2020, all international student has been banned to enter the country. All right, so the announcement by the immigrations and also the Ministry of Higher Education is only published in January, middle of January. So even the process of eval and EMGS approval letter has been issued before that, but eval approval, because of the ban of the countries, then students, the EMGS and immigration, they are not issuing the eval for the student for them to enter Malaysia. So after the announcement of this what I call allowed to enter the country, then only EMGS and immigration proceed with the eval approval. So after the eval approval obtained by the student, then only the student can go through all this process for them to do the preparation before entering Malaysia. Okay, so this is also the announcement for some students before they entering Malaysia. Okay, so there's quarantine also imposed for those international students. Okay, so before this, there's a 14 days quarantine required for all travelers, including international students. But due to some causes of, it is quite high cost for the quarantine, because 14 days the student have to pay a lot of amount for the quarantine to the Ministry of Higher Education. So and also the NATMA. And then the period of the quarantine has been reduced to 7 to 10 days. Okay, but depending to the students' result. So there are some students, they already have taken their PRC test before traveling to Malaysia. So they when they arrive to Malaysia, upon arrival, so the Ministry of Higher Education will check their result. So when their result is valid, so the student can only undergo the quarantine process for 7 days. Okay, so but those, they are not obtained or undergo the PCR test prior to the arrival to Malaysia. So they need to do it upon their arrival in Malaysia. So meaning that particular period, so those with the result from the previous country, before they enter Malaysia, and they already have the result and it's negative, the student only undergoes 7 days quarantine. And those without the PCR test result, and they never done it prior to their arrival, so they only done it upon arrival, so they have to undergo 10 days quarantine. So I have the detail from this slide. I just want to give a very brief. And then for all non-Malaysian citizens as well, so once they arrive in Malaysia, they will be charged for the quarantine cost. Okay, so all the payment they have to pay through my safe travel. So actually this link, the government and the immigration has been provided together with their eval information. So how the students can pay the amount before they travel to Malaysia, they can go to the link, My Safe Travel, and also my QR application by my EG. So this information the student can read through from their eval information. Okay, so the next one, this is the International Student Entry Process Flowchart. Okay, if you can see here, this information actually you can get it also from the EMGS website, EMGS Instagrams, EMGS Facebook, and also USM website from International Mobility and Collaboration Center, IMCC. So if you can see here, so this is the link for the students. For example, they want to come to Malaysia. So first of all, like I'm saying to you just now, students need to register for the EMGS in order for them to get the approval. Okay, the approval is either EMGS approval letter, first that one for the online registration. Second is the eval. Eval is electronic visa approval letter together with travel authorization. Regardless, the student, if before the COVID-19, so student, they don't need travel authorizations to enter Malaysia. Okay, the student is only obtained the eval from Immigration Malaysia, and later on they have to go to the embassy and to obtain the single entry before they make an arrangement to travel to Malaysia. But due to the COVID-19 is a bit strict, and then the approval and also the document is required by the government before the student entering Malaysia. So they need to obtain the eval EMGS approval letter and travel authorization from the EMGS application. So once the eval has been approved, so then later on the student have to go to the embassy to obtain the single entry and also travel permission. Okay, so if you can see here, the letter of undertaking and NITI LOU, this is the document that the student need to fill up for the purpose of undertaking, like a letter of undertaking to inform that they are ready to pay all the expenses upon the arrival, which is quarantine cost. Okay, so in order for them to get the permission from the embassy, so they need to fill up the LOU form and then send it to the embassy in order for them to get the permission from embassy together with the permissions to travel to Malaysia. But before they can do that, they need to obtain eval, EMGS approval letter, and also travel authorization first. Okay. So I will share this information also. I'm not sure IPS also already shared this one to their website before, but I will share also. But this all information actually you can download from the IMCC website. Our visa department, is under the IMCC. IMCC is International Mobility Collaboration Center in USM. So all the information is already available to be downloaded from the website. Okay. So because the different country requirement is totally different document needed. So I would like to ask the student also, if, for example, you have any further inquiry about the pertaining of this entry. So I actually share my WhatsApp number and also email. We have 3 WhatsApp number, the one that you can reach us to get the information in terms of the how you want to do all the process based on the country. But this is very general actually, what you have to do before you enter Malaysia, after you get all the approval, and then before coming to Malaysia also, you need to, there's one apps that you have to upload, you have to download. We call it My Sejahtera apps. So this My Sejahtera app is actually a tracking information for the students, or not just a student, for all Malaysian and even non-Malaysian in Malaysia, to know where their whereabouts, okay, and also to know their place they have been visited during the period of 14 days, in case of there's any cases, so they can easily track them. So this is the very important apps that the student have to download before they enter Malaysia. If, for example, you can't download these apps, the My Sejahtera app, prior your arrival, you can also download it once you arrive in Malaysia, when you meet up with the health officer, okay, upon your arrival. Okay, so as I mentioned to you just now, okay, the convicts test, you need to take it prior to your arrival, or after your arrival. There's some country, maybe the cost of the the cost of the PCR test is quite expensive, so you can opt and choose to do it in Malaysia. But the only thing is that when you do it in Malaysia upon your arrival, so you have to undergo 10 days quarantine. Okay, when you did it already 3 days before your arrival, at your home country, so you can just undergo the quarantine for 7 days. So this is the information that I mentioned to you just now. So the full charges of the quarantine and convict detention stay via online payment is through My Safe Travel application. Okay, students can also download this one if they want to make the payment online prior to the arrival to Malaysia. It's happened, there are some country, like I mentioned to you just now, there's a different country, there's a different procedures. There's a few countries I may want to mention, okay, for example, like Iran, and there are some countries that they cannot do the international transactions to another country. So this particular country, if they cannot make this particular online payment, so they can pay upon to their arrival, but either they have to pay via the credit card, debit card, or they have to pay cash. Okay, so there's an optional, but the advisable for the students to make the payment before the travel to Malaysia, to make the process smooth, and then there's a lot of queue upon the arrival. So this will make this process, quite easier for them. And the next one is, okay, this one is prior to the arrival, and this one is upon arrival. Okay, so if you can mention, if you can see here, once student arrives, so they have to go for the entry checkpoint. So this entry checkpoint, they will check the test that they already obtained, either the test is still valid or not, because there are some cases when the student already obtained the test 3 days before their travel, but they are transit in certain airport more than 10 days. Okay, it's happened, for example, like Qatar and also this different airlines. So they used to there are some from Middle East and there are some from African country. When you use Qatar Airline, so please make sure that you are not transit more than 10 days. Regardless, you already obtained the PCR or already done and undergo the PCR test in your country before you arrive to Malaysia. So if happen that you are transit more than 10 hours at certain country, so when you arrive in Malaysia, so the government or the health officers, they will ask you to redo it again. The reason why, because you have like exposed to the, it's quite long exposure with the other travelers when you are transit. So that is for the security reason. Then they will ask you to redo it again upon arrival, and you have to pay the cost for that particular medical checkup. Okay, it's about 250 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, so this is the one I mentioned to you just now. The NATMA or the health officers, they will check the test lab the test slip. So if, for example, it's not valid, they will redo it again. If, for example, it's valid, then they will go for the next process, then to present the LOU to the officer on duty, and then proceed to immigration. The immigration, the checking of the health screening is the first one before you can allow to go through the immigration's counter. So you see, so if, for example, you are not doing all this process, you may not allow to pass the immigration counter if the information and also the result has not been done, and the what I call the first point of checkpoint is the health ministry department. So second one is the immigration before you can allow to enter the country. So once you pass through all the entry, the immigration check and the security check from the immigration's counter, so then the bus will take you to the NAPMA center. So the NAPMA is the name of the disaster just now, as I mentioned, but actually they will assign respective hotel, the one that they already have and already assigned for the quarantine purpose for all travelers. So usually this hotel is located in Kuala Lumpur and Lembah Kelang area, near to Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur area. So the student will be transport by this NAPMA official to that particular place. So depending on how many days the quarantine they have to undergo, either 7 or 10 days. Okay. So the next one, so there's a there's a two tests. First test is for the first day of arrival. So if, for example, you are quarantined for 7 days, so the next test will be on the day 5, okay, the day 5. So because they will check 2 days before you check out from the NATMA center or the quarantine center, they want to make sure either you are okay or you are negative or positive. So if, for example, your result is positive, so they will refer you to the hospital. While if you are negative, so they will give a release order release order is given by the health officer and also the police department, the Royal Malaysian Police, in order for you to cross the state. Because why? Those students, they are coming from different university, means like out from Kuala Lumpur, so they need the permission from police in order for them to cross the state. But do not worry, because for all international students and new and also existing students, those coming to USM provided the transportation to pick up the student from the NATMA center. So I will explain to you how the students can notify by the IMCC for them to know the date of their arrival and also the date of check-in and check-out from the NATMA center. The NATMA center means the quarantine center. So in order for the IMCC, means the International Office of USM, to come and make an arrangement to pick you up from the quarantine center to the campus. Okay, so if you can see from here, so the continue of for self-quarantine, like I mentioned, the total quarantine requirements for all travelers is 14 days. But due to the cost of quarantines paid to the students, to the government, it's quite expensive. So there's some, demand and requirement earlier. So there has been, reduced the amount, the durations of quarantine to 7 to 10 days. So, but once the student is already completing their quarantine from the quarantine center in Kuala Lumpur, the transportation from USM will come and pick them up and then bring them to USM. Okay, so then, but they still need to do the isolations like self-quarantine in the hostel. So just now the accommodations department saying that there's a temporary hostel and also there's a permanent hostel. So what happened for the international student postgrad? So when they arrive in USM, so with the transport, with the officer from the international office, so first what they have to do is that they will report them to the medical center. If happen that you are coming late at night, so they will give you the temporary hostel for a while. So the next day, then you will report to the medical center in USM. It just like for normal checkup. It's not the PCR test anymore. This one is just like for the endorsement that you have completing your quarantine in KL, and just to assigns you the place in USM for the continuing to complete the 14 days. For example, you has been quarantined for 7 days in Kuala Lumpur, so you will continue 7 days isolations in the USM hostel. If, for example, you're completing 10 days in Kuala Lumpur, so the remaining 4 days you'll be completing in USM campus inside the hostel. So it happened if, for example, the student, they already have their own house. Maybe, there are some students might be coming with agents, with an agent. So maybe friends, they already recommend them to come to Malaysia or to come to USM. Probably they already have like a secure rented house outside USM. So, but what you have to do, you need to still undergo this isolations periods until completing the day 14. After that, if the student, they want to go to the house outside the campus, so they can do so. All right. But if, for example, the new student, they are not having any house rental outside. So if, for example, they want to continue to rent in the hostel, all right, so the accommodation department, they are providing a secure accommodation for postgrad international student for 1 semester. So it's not 1 month as the one mentioned, Madam Farah mentioned. It's actually for 1 semester. Okay, so this is for international student postgrad. But if, for example, the international student from postgrad, they are maybe they just want to stay for a few weeks, or maybe they just want to stay for 1 month, and suddenly they decided to, okay, I want to look for a house outside, should be no problem. So as long as you're completing the isolation state and, inside USM for 14 days, then should be no problem. You can continue to stay inside the campus, and also you can go to rent house outside the campus. Okay, so the same goes with the one without and with the PCR. So the one without the RT-PCR test, okay, you have to undergo 10 days period of quarantine in Kuala Lumpur, and then the balance of 4 days is in USM. Okay, so this is the one that the students, the shock when they see the amount of price that they're going to pay to the Malaysian government for the purpose of quarantine. Okay, so I also share this one in our website, our MCC website. I will give you the information of the MCC link later on, and also the WhatsApp number, the one that you guys can contact us if, for example, you have further information pertaining to the entry. Okay, if you can see here, the one that for 7 days period, so this is with the PCR test result. So this is the amount of quarantine is about 4,020 ringgit Malaysia. And the one without RT-PCR test result, this we call it as a convicts test, check-up prior to arrival, and also upon arrival. So the one without the PCR test, okay, you have to undergo 10 days. Okay, this is the amount that you have to pay is ringgit Malaysia, 4,470 ringgit. Okay. So this is the information. This one is just like informations to all international students. So identify student personal and travel information and plan and smooth entry to Malaysia and the campuses. Okay, so verified student. This is actually the responsibility of USM. So USM, so when the student apply for a visa and also apply through EMGS, EMGS is Education Malaysia Global Services, we can see the information of the students from the system. But only existing student, we can see their travel itinerary, because this existing student, they have to apply separately to obtain the travel authorization in order for them to come to Malaysia. So, but for international student, like a new international student, we don't have their ETA, like a itinerary of arrival or even departure, because once the student has been obtained the eval approved by the Immigration Malaysia, the travel of authorization has been given automatically together with the eval. So the student is only have to download and do the process to apply for the single entry and also the permission from the embassy before they make an arrangement to travel to Malaysia. Okay, so this is the one that responsibility by the student. As I mentioned to you just now, you have to download the LOU. Also, this LOU is the one that the informations I will share. Also the LOU form, and actually from the website of MCC we do have this form as well. And this LOU form is just the information that the date of your arrival and how many days that you have to undergo the quarantine, and also that you agreed of paying the amount of quarantine, the one that charged and also explained by the Ministry of Health. Okay, so this is the information from number 1 to number 6, the one that the student have to obtain, okay, prior to your arrival, and then upon arrival. So you can see here, I don't want to read through everything because I believe you can see all this. So if you want to ask further, so I can explain to you as well. So you can just drop the question so I can answer you after this slide, okay? So this is the one from the Education Malaysia. So I do have another slide that I would like to share with you guys. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is actually, I'm not sure you can see this clear. Okay, this is
slideshow, Puan Fazila.
Hold on, yeah. I tried to click it, but it doesn't show for the slide.
Okay, then you just yeah, just zoom it.
Okay, I tried to zoom it. Okay, this is actually is very of what call on the process of the EMGS. I believe that for those that are not obtained the EMGS approval letter or eval, so I just want to go through a little bit brief about the information. Okay, so when the student apply for the EMGS, so how to apply for a student pass visa for a new student. Okay, so number 1 here, if you can see, the student have to go through the EMGS applications online to submit their application. So this is the requirement document the student need to provide when they submit the applications in order for them to get the approval. Okay, so the number 2, but before the approval can be processed, so the USM IMCC visa department, they will go through all this process and to verify with the offer letter and also the documents submitted before we do the approval. So, and then the EMGS will then proceed with the application before the issuing the EMGS approval letter. Usually from 5% approval from USM to get to 32%, if the application and the documents submitted is okay. So what I call the process of promptly within 7 to 10 days, student can get the EMGS approval letter. Okay, there's no sound. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Okay, I saw there are some messages that they can't hear.
I think only Davina.
Okay, okay. So okay, the next one is number 3. You know, the number 2 just now is one, the application is 32%. Student obtain the EMGS approval letter. Student can actually proceed with online registration with the IPS admission department. Okay, so for those because we do have like a certain courses that can you know, online teaching, and there are some is blended learning and they have to come to Malaysia face to face. So regardless, you may want you may, you know, register online earlier, but still you need to wait until you obtain eval before you can allow to enter Malaysia, because there are some students also asking is that we can enter Malaysia with EMGS approval letter? My answer is no, because EMGS approval letter is just a vet from the EMGS in order for the students to register online, but the eval is the one that has been vetting by the immigrations department in terms of the security check. Then only they given the approval of eval, electronic visa approval letter, to allow the students to enter Malaysia. Okay, so in number 4 here, as I mentioned to you just now, okay, the due to the process, but there's a different country requirement and different what I call not rules, actually is a requirement by the embassy for each country, and also based on their nationality. Just to make a simple example, for example, student came from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, like Nigeria. This is the total numbers of students that many, like China, the one that registered in USM. So this country, they are required single entry visa. Okay, because this country, when they come to Malaysia, they cannot obtain a tourist visa on arrival. So once they have the eval, so they must go to the nearest embassy in their country to get the single entry visa from our Malaysian embassy or our Malaysian representative or consulate before they make an arrangement to travel to Malaysia. So there's another country without the Malaysian embassy and also the country under the Commonwealth. So actually from the eval itself, they already mentioned either this student is required to obtain SEV and visa on arrival. For example, the country that require visa on arrival, it is the country without the Malaysian embassy. For example, like Palestine, Syrians, Yemen, Somalia, and also Syria, Iraq, and Libya. So only 8 countries, the one that without Malaysian embassy in the whole world. And the next one is the travel authorization. This travel authorization is the one that actually approved together with the eval. So the students can download from the applications together in order for them to print it and bring it upon the arrival. So LOU, as I mentioned, get the permission from the embassy. So those countries, regardless, obtain also VOA prior to arrival, but for the permission from the embassy is compulsory. The permission from the embassy for those countries that without Malaysian embassy, what you have to do is that you need to go to, you need to email to the nearest embassy. You don't have to go to the embassy. You just need to email to, for example, student from Syria or maybe from Iraq. So you don't have the embassy. So you can email to the nearest embassy in Jordan or Lebanon, okay, to obtain the permissions from the embassy before you make an arrangement to travel. So, but please make sure you have all these documents together with you, the eval, EMGS approval letter, and also travel authorization. So this is the arrangement that you have to do prior to your arrival. Okay, so for the post-arrival, so when the student is already obtained their eval, the application is actually turned to 80%. So some student asking, okay, there's a requirement of additional document required by the EMGS is the current pass, personal bond, and post-val medical. So those 20% is that is the document that you have to submit once you have arrived in Malaysia, okay? So because they require the entry stamp for the purpose of endorsing your student pass sticker on your passport. This one is after your arrival. So when your application is already reached 80%, that you are already have all the documents and do the process to get the approval from the embassy before you travel, so you're ready to go. Okay, the remaining 20% is for you all to process while once you arrive in Malaysia. So this is the one I explained to you. I don't want to repeat this one. Okay, the post-arrival, either you undergo the quarantine 7 to 10 days locations. I mean, that one will be decided by Health Minister in Kuala Lumpur. And then they pick up from the quarantine center. This one will be arranged by the USM under the International Mobility Office. It's an international office. Then continue the isolations in USM to complete the 14 days. Okay. And then once you arrive to USM campus, then you need to proceed for the medical checkup at the USM clinic, as I mentioned to you just now. All right. So the next one, after you complete all the isolation process for the visa endorsement, but make sure you register first. So before you can, proceed for the visa, you need to make sure that you register first at admissions department in order for you to continue the process of sticker endorsement, because we can see from the campus online if the student has been registered or not, or the student can give the proof of registration. There's a letter issued by the IPS when the student registered for us to prove that you already registered before we can endorse your sticker. Okay, so the process for us to get the sticker and to complete the document to reach 100% usually within 5 to 7 working days after the medical, the current pass has been submitted to us, and then we will email to EMGS to complete the 100%, because EMGS will issue the supporting document for us to submit to our state immigration in Penang for them to issue the stickers, student pass sticker on the passport. And later on, the iCard, those students that purchase insurance via EMGS, so the insurance card will be issued by EMGS, but there are some students that have their own group insurance. Those sponsored students, they probably have like a scholarship, and they have usually students from Saudi, Arab Saudi, and there's a few countries like Libya and Iraq. They do have the embassy letter and also the scholarship letter that already come together with their insurance. So that one, they don't have the insurance card here with us. So, but just to make sure those students that purchase the insurance, not from EMGS. So make sure the insurance is a medical and health insurance and is covered worldwide, means that it's covered in Malaysia. So make sure the company and the insurance company also can be used in Malaysia. So we don't want like the insurance purchased from your country, and when you come to Malaysia and the insurance cannot be used in Malaysia for you to claim, and also for you to get the medical benefit from any hospital in Malaysia, especially in Penang. Okay, so this one is the type of visa. All right, so the single entry is actually the one issued by the embassy of the consulate. I already explained to you just now. And then the visa on arrival or special pass entry, this one is actually given by the immigration at the point of entry in Kuala Lumpur. So during the coronavirus, during the COVID-19, so the strict the rules by our Malaysian government, so all international flight, so they must go through Kuala Lumpur, because all the checkpoint at the quarantine center is assigned in Kuala Lumpur. So you can't get any flight, goes to, flight to Penang directly, like not before COVID-19. So there's a certain flight they can fly direct to Penang, but due to this, procedure and also the SOP, so make sure the student purchase the flight the last entry is Kuala Lumpur International Airport. But it's depending on what airline you are using, because we do have 2 international airports in Kuala Lumpur. One is Kuala Lumpur International Airport, and the other one is Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2. Okay, actually, Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2 is like AirAsia and also Malindo. So like some countries, for example, like India, Bangladesh, and also Asian country like Southeast Asia, they used to have the AirAsia flight that flight from their country to Kuala Lumpur airport, but that one they will stop at Kuala Lumpur too. Okay, so those like international airport, most of international flight like Qatar, Emirates, what else, like China Airlines, Etihad, Ethiopia, and the rest of the international airlines, they used to stop at Kuala Lumpur International Airport 1. Okay, so make sure it's Kuala Lumpur Airport. So do not purchase flight to go to another state. So that is very, very important. All right, so this is the multiple entry visa is the one that when the student obtain their student pass.
Fazila, sorry to disturb for a while. Can you do full screen? If instead of slideshow, you can just the icon beside the next one, the left one, the right one. No. the left one beside the slideshow.
Hold on.
The slideshow icon, yeah, that one.
The issue is that I don't know why I cannot press it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That case, can you minimize the left side of the screen? The left side of the screen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like that. Better.
Sorry, I was like excited of talking, so
It's okay, no problem.
Okay, so the multiple entry visa, this one is actually issued by the State Immigration Department for Penang and University of Science Malaysia, the one located in main campus. I'm not sure, Madam Farah, this also involving the student in KL or also health campus?
Yes.
Okay. So because there's a process, probably they may not understand because the one that from health campus and also IPSKL, because we do have different campuses, the one that processing the visa. So for students that come to main campus, okay, so the process of the endorsement of the visa is issued by the Penang State Immigration. So for those in KL, so the processings of their student sticker endorsement is issued by there's one department, we call it IPSKL. So they're also processing the visa, and they are the one that will bring the passport for those new students to EMGS counter, because in Kuala Lumpur, all the process for the endorsement of sticker, they will do it directly to EMGS counter because EMGS HQ located in Kuala Lumpur. So for those from health campus, the student pass endorsement is issued from health campus, means in Kelantan. Okay, so maybe some of you may not know where is Kelantan, where is Penang, and where is Kuala Lumpur. So maybe after this, you can start Google and see the maps of Malaysia, where is health campus and main campus, and also Kuala Lumpur campus is located. Okay. So the next one is what I call, okay, this is just the informations of the student for the new application. So I believe that those students, they are not obtained and apply yet. So you can go to this EMGS application, EMGS online application to start and begin the submission of EMGS and also to obtain the eval. Okay, so this is just like to share quick, guys, with you all. So how the process is actually taking some student, why the process of eval and why the process of EMGS taking too long, because there's a different step and flow that the one EMGS and also immigration have to go through before they issue the the EMGS approval letter, especially in terms of the qualification and also the quality check, okay, from the EMGS. And also the passport, if for example, there are some students, maybe they already apply from other institution before and they have the active pass from other institution, or maybe they already obtained like eval from other institution. In order for them to apply to USM and to obtain another approval from USM, so they have to do all the screening. All right, so it's just like a sharing with you guys, so why the process is taking a bit longer. So if actually we advise all international students, once you obtain your full offer letter, so we actually advise the student to apply at least 3 months prior to your arrival, especially this convict happens and this convict pandemics has happened. Okay, the process might be taking too long. It is considered like including the process prior to arrival to obtain so many approval from the embassy, and also there's a few approval also from the Malaysian government, especially from EMGS and immigration. And the next one, okay, this is the one from immigration. If you can see, the one from EMGS is got 6 steps, but the one from immigration is about 10 to 11 steps. So before the student pass can be approved and given to the students. Okay, this one is just like sharing information for the students. Okay. So actually, for the new students, so we do have this sharing information. I may share this one later after this session. How the students, when they obtain, when they already in Malaysia and they already arrive in Malaysia, can inform us. So which hotel or quarantine center, the one that already allocated by the NATMA for them to stay during the quarantine. Because until you all arrive in Malaysia. So USM or even international office, we don't know where is the hotel they will assign you because it's based on arrival. So we only can know the student's hotel, the one that assigned by this Ministry of Health for the quarantine purpose when you arrive in Malaysia. So this is the reason why we make these announcements for the students to please notify USM, I mean through international office. So we're providing the email and also WhatsApp number. So for you guys to inform us that the date of your arrival and the date of your check out from the quarantine, because we're not sure that either you are been quarantined for 7 days or 10 days. Okay. So, and then we will make an arrangement to do the transport for you to pick up from the Kuala Lumpur hotel. Okay. So I will share this one later on detail. And then this is just some information of the step, what you have to do after you arrive in Malaysia. And then you have to do the medical checkup. This medical checkup is very important also. The one that students submitted whilst you are applying for the visa, it's only the health declarations form. Okay, the health declaration form is just like to declare that you are free from all 14 diseases, the one that listed by the EMGS. Actually, the one from the USM also, they follow the same form. And also, but the one in USM is you need to undergo the medical check. Okay, we call it like medical checkup because this is the information needed to confirm that the student is fit to study. And this confirmation letter also required by admissions department in order for them to proceed further for you to register. Okay, and after that only you can submit to visa department for us to send it to EMGS for the purpose of the sticker and the student pass endorsement. All right. So, but please make sure usually when the students enter Malaysia, regardless you already minus the 7 or 10 days entry, you know, I mean, it's like the period during the quarantine and later on another 4 or 7 days in isolations in USM. But for the student enter with the eval upon arrival, the immigration will given 30 days. 30 days, they call it entry for the student to do the process of registration, you know, plus minus with the quarantine and also to get the sticker endorsement from immigration. Okay. So just to let you know, so please make sure after you finish your isolation in USM, do not delay because it's happened have a few semester before, like a few intakes. There are some students came with their agent. So after they arrive Malaysia and when they undergo the quarantine, they are like delaying the process of doing the medical checkup. So because the medical checkup from the USM clinic, they take at least 2 to 3 working days for them to get the full result. So, and then to do all the process of registration and later on for the endorsement of sticker for the new student, they will take about 1 week. So 30 days given by the immigration upon arrival is actually enough. But for those they are delaying their process may cause they are overstaying based on the 30 days given, because sometimes they are delaying probably like 1 week because they don't know what to do, because this student usually brought by the agent. Okay, so we also want to make sure like the student that in this group and this platform, please also inform your agent. Probably they are the one that arrange everything for you. Maybe they also like the one arranging the transportation or arranging the facilities for you upon your arrival. So please also remind your agent to make sure that you do the process accordingly based on the requirement, okay, in order for you to complete the visa endorsement. Okay, so this is the sample of how the status of application when the student is already obtained the eval and already arrived in Malaysia in order for us to continue with 20% of the endorsement. So this is the one I explained to you just now. Sorry, I forgot to block the student name anyway. So the travel authorization, this is the one that provided by the EMGS, eval approval, eval, and also the arrival got to you, Malaysia. All this information is available on your application status. You can check and you can track your EMGS status, so you can see all this information, okay? So the next one, as I mentioned to you just now, what is actually the document is required for you to submit. You see here, the current pass. Current pass is the entry stamp, the one that you obtain once you arrive in Malaysia. So this personal bond is not the one that you pay to USM, okay? This personal bond is a stamping. This one will be issued by Visa Department. Once you register, we have your system in USM that you are registered student. So we will do the stamping. So this stamping is for us to verify to immigrations that the students has been registered, and then for us to do the stamping for their sticker. And the post-val medical is the one I mentioned just now, is the confirmation letter from the USM clinic to ensure that the student is fit to study, and then we can submit this one to EMGS for further process. If for example happen, okay, I am very frankly with you guys. So there's happened when the student arrive in Malaysia. So and then they has like undergo all this process, and they are not fit to study for certain reason, because there's a few diseases that the governments of Malaysia and also the USM itself, we are follow the guideline from the health ministry. For example, like students with hepatitis, hepatitis A, B, C, with certain calculations of the what I call the requirements of that particular disease. I'm not really familiar. I mean, I'm not really expert on that. And also, for example, those that what I call diagnosed with HIV. Okay, we are so sorry to explain to you that the USM might not allow you to register. So when this thing happen, okay, then the student may need to make an arrangement to return back to their country, because the USM, like the visa department, we can't do any extension of the visa if, for example, the student is undergo and also like diagnosed with this kind of diseases, and then they are not allowed to register in USM. So upon your registration in USM, and also upon the checkup in the clinic, also the doctor will do the consultation with the student if, for example, student has diagnosed with those kind of diseases. But I hope all USM students, the one that coming very soon, you guys are healthy, and all of you guys can register smoothly, and also can get the student visa in Malaysia. Okay, so this is the information. Please get all this name and also the email address for my staff numbers. The WhatsApp numbers is this number, the one you can see here is an official WhatsApp number. And also we do have an email address. Okay, and the staff that in doing the process of new student pass renewal, and also for the new, but at the moment, mobility student, maybe you guys don't know what is mobility. Mobility is actually for exchange student. So exchange student at the moment is not allowed, because the government still content and still control the entry of international students step by step. Okay, the mobility student is still not allowed to enter Malaysia, and there's no eval has been approved at the moment. So only for full-time student. And sad story to say, okay, because only a student is allowed to enter Malaysia, and dependent is still not allowed to enter Malaysia together with the student. If before student can bring their family as a dependent to join them, when they are study in Malaysia during their candidature. So at the moment, so there's some student, they're also asking, okay, how can I bring my children? Because I'm a single mother, or maybe husband and wife, both of them, they are student. They have one of two children that need to come to them. But to be honest with you guys, I understand what I call it, the need to bring the children. Okay, but when come to the immigration and the government rules, so I just let you guys know, maybe you need to make a proper arrangement in order for you to travel to Malaysia. And also probably you may need to wait first until the government make an announcement for the dependents to be allowed to enter Malaysia. Okay, so at the moment we don't have any clue when the government will make an announcement for the dependent of student can enter Malaysia. The one that they allowed the dependents to enter Malaysia at the moment is only for the expatriate. Okay, so the one that with the employment pass and also the PR and also M2H pass holder, that one they can allow their family to enter. But for the students, still not yet. So please, we will keep posting and also keep posted the information of the latest rule of immigration and also the from the Ministry of Education. So what I call based on time to time. But at the moment, the rules keep changing. To be honest with you guys, in 1 year, the immigration rule and also announcement has been changed more than 18 times. So I just like explain to you guys whatever I briefed to you today. So if, for example, then there's a new announcement might become back, might become maybe weeks later or 2 weeks later. So maybe what I'm saying to you today might be not what I call it can be used anymore. For example, the one from the immigration and also the quarantine process. But the most important thing is that please keep yourself posted with all information from the IMCC website. Also, we keep posted the latest announcement, the latest rules, and I believe IPS also always what I call sharing this particular information also to the new candidate and the new students that the one that want to come. Okay. So the next one is okay. This is our IMCC website. So guys, please take note. This is the MCC website. So my email and my personal WhatsApp number and also official number, I do share with the student, okay, with the high volume of inquiries from students. So you may expected like delaying of replying maybe like within 1 or 2 days like that, because within a day we receive like 1,000 of notification, especially from WhatsApp. Okay, but we also what I call try to respond to the students based on their inquiry time to time. But what I call it, like if the things that we can share, the guideline and the SOP is a very general question, so we can just share the information. Unless the student, they are really need the what I call like a detailed guideline, especially there are some country, I'm not sure if there are some country that, for example, like Afghanistan, you know, there are some country like they have a very difficult procedure to enter Malaysia. So I probably like giving them a different and proper guideline. Okay. So, but the rest of the country that I believe the one that USM has been offered to study in Malaysia, so you all have no really major issue in terms of the entry and also the process of obtaining the visa. Okay, it's just that based on the embassy procedure, either the SCV or VOA, so that is determined by the embassy. Either they have the embassy or don't have the embassy in your country. All right. So that's all for me. In case you want to ask, okay, I think I can write here. So this is my WhatsApp number, official WhatsApp number. Okay, so you guys can also send me any inquiry pertaining to visa matters, especially on the purpose of entry to Malaysia. I share here, and also my email. Okay, actually all this information you can get it from our website. If you go to our website, you can see the WhatsApp number, my staff WhatsApp number, and also myself. Okay, WhatsApp number and also email address. So this is the information. I hope I answered some question, and I need to check also. So if there's any further question that may be raised by the students. Okay, so thank you for now.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you, Miss Fazila.
It's now Q&A time.
Hello.
Can you check the chat box?
I have your
so that
question.
we can take a look for a few questions.
Yeah, I
have
want
a
to
question.
ask.
Okay, one by one, please. One by one.
May I ask first?
Okay.
I'm Davina.
Your name, please?
I'm Davina.
Davina, okay. Yes.
I want to ask, I didn't catch you at the beginning because I'm a student from UPM. I have my student pass and now I'm in Malaysia. So
Okay.
And my student pass won't expire until October.
October 2021?
October 1st.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah, this year, yeah?
Yeah, 2021. And I
Okay.
have the medical insurance until October 2. So,
Okay, what is your question?
do I have to renew my student passport from USM?
Yes, okay. So to answer your question, okay, your case is considered as a student that already in Malaysia. So meanings that you already obtained your student pass from other institution. Okay, so we considered like, have you completed your study in other institution, or you are halfway of study at that particular institution in UPM?
I have finished my study, but I haven't get my certification of graduation, and I'm waiting for my final year score.
Okay, so you means that you are using your final year scores to obtain the offer letter. Have you obtained offer letter from USM?
A conditional offer.
A conditional offer means that you have to study English, right?
Not English. I have submit my IELTS score, and I think the condition is I have to graduate from UPM.
Okay, with the CGPA 2.75.
Yes.
All right, all right. So in this case, okay, so in order for you to do the submission, as I mentioned to you, you can see my WhatsApp number, because your case is probably like different from other new student, the one that's still in home country. Okay, your case is we considered as a progression, like you already finished. You are PhD or master student?
I'm a master student in UPM and a PhD in USM.
So it's still considered as progression. So meaning progression means that you have to obtain a progression's eval approval from USM. So in order for you to do so, okay, so there's a progression. If you can see our, never mind, Davina, you can WhatsApp me. I can share you the information of the progression's visa processing. Actually, is from our website. You can see the step of how to obtain the visa and the progression requirement for the student that study from other institution to convert their visa to USM, because you cannot use the visa from UPM to study in USM, and you also cannot use the visa from UPM to register in USM. So in order for you to register with IPS, you need to obtain at least EMGS approval letter first. So you can do the submission because as a student, for the progression and variation, you must do it through USM. You cannot submit like a new students like the one that from their home country, because the progression and what I call variation process, you need to do the cancellation on your previous visa in order for you to obtain the visa from the current institutions. So I hope you got my, I hope I answer you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I will contact you by WhatsApp.
Yeah, please. You want contact me via WhatsApp. So because like your case now, because also that you are obtaining the conditional offer. So this conditional offer, if for example you are not fulfill the requirement of 2.75, so that means you may not allowed to register. Am I correct, Madam Farah?
Yes,
I have
correct.
no problem with that because I'm good in that.
Okay, so I trust you. Okay, so
Okay.
I hope you can get the more than 3 point above. Okay, so you can join USM. So we welcome you. So please contact me later on. Okay, so I can advise you accordingly on the process.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Good day.
Good evening.
ma'am.
I've got a question. This is Abhilash here.
Good day, ma'am. I should be the second person.
Okay, who is the line now?
This is Abhilash here. I'm expat.
Hi.
Abhi?
Yeah. So I would like to know, is there any special pass requirement? I'm already holding a employment pass.
Okay. So I think there's a few criteria of the special pass, because just now I explaining about new. Okay, this kind of cases, I'm sorry guys, maybe I'm not tackle because there's this is actually a minor what I call it requirement for certain students. Not all students is like holding this particular pass. Okay, for your case, you already have an employment pass, right? And then you obtain the full offer letter from USM. Am I right?
Right.
Okay, so what you have to do, those that already have an employment pass in Malaysia, okay, and then how many longer, I mean, like how long is your durations of your employment pass left?
Okay, it lapsed in October 2021, but it will be renewed.
Okay, so how long has been you have you been working in Malaysia?
It's already 1.5 years.
Okay, so because the reason why I'm asking you, because there are some employment pass they given 1 off to 5 years, some 1 year, but the renewal. But in case, for example, the company may not renewing their contract, so then the student have to apply for a student visa. Okay, like your case, if for example your contract is renewal and then you are still working with your company, so what you have to do is that your HR from your company need to get the endorsement from the immigration department, the place where they're issuing the employment pass, for you to get the permissions to study. Okay, I can share to you. You can send also WhatsApp to me. I know I will expect a lot of WhatsApp later.
Sure.
What I can share to you, the sample, how the stamp given for the employment pass in order for them to study. They call it like permissions to study. You don't have to apply for EMGS approval letter. You don't have to apply for another eval. You can register with the current employment pass that you have with IPS. But the most important thing is that you need to get the permission from the immigration. So they will endorse the permission to study in your on your passport, but this have to be issued by your HR company. The reason why, because you are working there and the company is the one that will give the consent and permission for you while you are working to to study in USM. Okay, so there must be a consent letter from your company to provide to the immigrations department, because in order for them to request of permissions for you to study, so the immigration they will require from your company the consent letter that they don't have any objection for you to study while you are working. Okay.
Okay, so this has to be done now or after 2021 October?
No, you actually what I call it, the permissions of study, when you are registered. Have you registered?
Yeah, I have already registered and I've got the offer letter from
you need to do it now, because you are considered as a student, because in order want to use the facilities in USM, you are holding an employment pass, right? So in case like ask from the authorities, so you say you are a student, for sure you can provide the metric card, but at least in your passport you have the permission of study.
Okay. All right, sure, I can do that. Yeah,
you can your company, and most of the company, those they have the staff they are study, especially the one that have an international students and also international staff, so they used to have this particular process, because the USM visa department, we cannot do the endorsement because we are not the one giving the permission for you to study, is the company. Okay, you have to from the company.
Okay, and the second question is, like, I'm already holding insurance from my company, so still I need to purchase insurance provided by USM, or I can continue the same?
Yeah, if you apply for the visa under EMGS, yes, you need to purchase, since you already have the insurance under your company, and like I mentioned to you just now, so you are using an employment pass, so that particular insurance is valid for you. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And my question is, I have a problem with EMGS. I have. Hello.
Yeah, may I know who is speaking?
You are speaking with Jibrin Usman Lapai, calling you, speaking to you from Nigeria.
Oh, Mr. Jibrin, I remember you.
Thank you, Zuma. Up to now, my problem has not been solved, and I'm waiting. Right now, they're about to start the online registration and online lecture. And I don't think I can be able to copy up again.
Okay,
and the time is going.
Yeah, Mr. Jibrin, we have submitted 3 times, your document last time, for them to do the reopen, because they has closed your application before. Okay, so probably like Mr. Jibrin, your case, I need to personally do the follow-up, because due to the coronavirus and also the lockdown, and we have a very limited traveling to Kuala Lumpur, because the reopen of every closed application, we cannot send it via via email. So we need to go and do the explanation directly to EMGS as well at the counter. So based on the reasons of why the application has been closed, and also the document that provided to us need to be verified as well. So like in this case now, because currently I'm having a plan to travel, because like on Friday, the Malaysian government has announced of the lockdown in Malaysia has been lifted, but still cross-state is still not allowed. But we need to get the police permission for us to travel from Penang to Kuala Lumpur, a special approval for us to travel to Kuala Lumpur to get that particular issue, what I call it, probably we can do the direct follow-up with that department.
Okay, what is your advice now to this online lecture that they will start now?
I know your case actually. I believe Madam Farah also know, because this one is quite some time already. But your application, yeah, I know. Your application is closed due to I just don't want to mention, yeah. But I believe that Madam Farah also, you are aware of this before.
I can't remember.
She should be aware.
Many.
She should be aware, because I do mail her.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Okay, never, Puan Fazila, maybe we can treat this case later. Perhaps we can answer another question first. In the chat box, I see a lot of questions.
Okay,
just
I think
take
we can proceed. I think we can proceed with the one with the general question, because this one is more to personal issue.
Yes.
Okay, I take note your information here. Okay.
No problem.
Hello, yes.
Hi, I'm actually an international student here, and I'm graduated, and my visa expired last week. So I went to my university. They told me that the new university that I have applied, they are the one who's supposed to apply for my special pass.
Wait, hold on. You are from, I don't hear you from the beginning. May I know from which university you are from?
I am from Segi University.
Okay, Segi University. Okay, currently you're in Malaysia.
Yeah, I'm in Malaysia currently.
Okay,
and
the next has been expired.
Yeah, last week my visa has been expired.
Have you do the application to USM yet?
Yeah, I did the application, and I got the offer letter too.
No, not from USM. I mean, have you submit any application to obtain EMGS approval yet from EMGS?
I haven't yet, because they told me I need to ask Segi for a special pass. But when I went to Segi told me that the new university is the one who need to give me the special pass. They cannot issue a special pass for me. They can only issue a special pass for me to exit.
Yeah, because when you are studying in Segi, so what course that you are studying? Diploma, degree, or what?
Degree.
A degree. So now you are coming for master, right?
Yeah, master.
Okay, so never mind. What's your name again?
My name is Zara.
Zara, I give you my WhatsApp number. Can you just personally message me?
Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, I think I prefer the general question. Then I can answer you guys because like the one like Zara issue, because your visa has been expired from previous university, and I was like maybe like it's quite late for you actually to contact with us to ask about the process. You should submit the application to us before your visa expired. It's considering like now you are overstaying under your previous visa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please contact me personally, yeah, because I cannot discuss this matter on this platform.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, everyone. I believe that this visa issue is how to say need a long time or a long process for us to discuss. But basically exceeding the time now. We are almost 6:30 at the moment in Malaysia. For those who are outside Malaysia, maybe you do not know the time difference. Perhaps I will just take one last question because I saw Michelle Kwak raise hand for quite some times. So you just raise your question, and after that I will close the session. If you want to have more details or more how to say answers from Miss Fazila, please WhatsApp or email to her. Okay, Misha, please, what is your questions?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm actually on a short-term social pass. I already am living in Penang, and I've been here because of since COVID, before COVID and MCO last year. So I've been living here, and I believe it doesn't make sense for me to leave the country, quarantine in another country for 14 days, then return here only to quarantine again, and then all the while increasing my exposure to COVID from all of that as well. I'm wondering if it's possible for me to obtain my student visa, you know, without leaving and coming back since I'm already here.
Is it Hannah?
Michelle speaking.
Oh, Michelle. Okay, sorry. Where you from, Michelle?
I'm a US citizen.
Okay, because I have a few students also from US citizen. So they all came to Malaysia on social visa. Okay, the time they came to Malaysia, they are on tourist visa, because the rules of the regulations of immigration for the whole Malaysia is not just for USM. So any students that came and also entered Malaysia on social visa, regardless the eval and also the EMJS approval letter has been given, but the requirement from the immigration is still require you to exit Malaysia. So this one, there's no way we can help. Regardless, the embassy of USA has issued a letter for few students last time when we require to appeal for them to still remain in the country, and even visa department also do some declaration that saying that the student in Malaysia also is not accepted, because this is the requirement from our governments and then also from the immigration. So I know your concerns because you have to go out and then coming back. So because of the tourist visa that you are using, because it's strictly no profit, it's strictly not allowed for any students came on tourist visa to do the conversions to student visa. You must use the eval, the one that approved by immigration, to use the proper channel to enter Malaysia as student. Then only they can issue a student visa endorsement once you are here. So my apology for that, but it's totally beyond of our control because this is our immigration process. Yeah.
I see. Do you believe that with the vaccinations and all, will things change in the coming months? The procedure, I mean.
I have no clue, my dear, because even the change of the rules might be changed. We don't know, because like I'm saying, within a year we have 18th rule has been changed so far. So even though that the government has announced that the entry of the students started from 1st January, but the SOP and the guideline that particular time has yet to be published. If you see the guideline, that the one I shared just now is only been issued on the 14th of February, but the eval only been issued for new student is begin on 8th February. So like I'm saying, so the change of the requirements and the change of the rule might be, but I cannot have any idea. Is unpredictable. Okay, so just keep posted ourselves time to time. So in case of anything, we do share the informations on our website. Any latest information that we do share there. So please go and check. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Fazila, for the very extensive sharing session with all our potential students. I really hope our international students get a very good information, very informative information. If you need further, you can browse to the IMCC website, or you can WhatsApp or email to Ms. Fazila team. They will assist you accordingly. But I do understand the volume will be very high. So you all need to be patient while waiting for the response by Ms. Fazila team. All right, with that, thank you everyone. I hope to see you all in USM physically, hopefully. And for those who are following classes online, please ensure you follow the classes accordingly. And tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, there will be a session with the school, but for some, they might have a recorded version. So you can straight away listen to the school, get more information whether you need to come or when you need to come and how the classes will be arranged. So with that, thank you so much and goodbye. Assalamualaikum.